Good morning. Oh, I'm so glad to be back here on the coding train in the morning. I'm playing in the background a new song by somebody. Nearest neighbor, K nearest neighbor. It is called the K Nearest Neighbor remix by Third Culture Records. I guess it's from the latest live stream. I'm having trouble talking with this music on. So welcome, my name is Dan. I hope that I'm live streaming. I hope that everyone can hear me. I'm checking some chat things going. Okay, it is live. Okay, great. So this is the coding train. My name is Dan Schiffman, and I am here most Fridays, almost every Friday, often in the late afternoon, but I'm here this morning. It is now the end of the semester at New York University. Next week, if you happen to be in the New York City area, my students have a show of all their work Tuesday and Wednesday here at 721 Broadway. So there's a lot of stuff going on for setting up for that I'm doing this afternoon, and so I'm here this morning instead. So what's happening? Well, look at all aboard, toot toot, all sorts of stuff. Okay, nobody's complaining. This yellow, this slightly strange invisible mug is back. So I have a bunch of things that I want to discuss and go over and do, and I think I've already forgotten what all those things are. Oh, does it say special Thursday episode in the, let me fix that. I'm going to change this to say every Friday. Okay, I should save that now. So first of all, to the young fellow who stopped me in Union Square this morning and said, "Hey, are you coding Rainbow?" Hello, I doubt you're actually watching, but that was like a lot of fun that somebody actually stopped me in the subway at Union Square to ask if I was coding Rainbow. And first of all, a couple things. Number one is, as much as I would like to be, I am not physically a rainbow, though I am close to one, perhaps, maybe. Also, it's the coding train now. No more coding Rainbow, sadly. Okay. Blue Boy 79 who has 2 exams tomorrow. You should probably go study for those exams. Okay, let's put back on. I realized I forgot to do something here, which I need to do. I'm going to put back on the. Actually, no. Before I do that, let me mention something. So. I'm trying a new experiment. I'm trying to figure out all sorts of different ways to interact with the audience. And some of you know that I have a patron group. I'm using a crowdfunding site called patreon.com. If you go to patreon.com/codingtrain, you are welcome to participate and contribute in this, and you'll get an invite to a Slack channel, which I'm not looking at, but I'm going to look at right now. Nobody's put any messages in the Slack channel, but there it is. Actually, there are some from earlier, but not since I started. Okay, but I take questions on Twitter, and I have this like GitHub repository. I'm trying all sorts of different things. Something that I thought I would try that someone suggested. There is a coding train subreddit that somebody created, and I put there a question thread for Friday, May 12th at 10:30 a.m. So here is where you could. If this goes well, I'll do this every week. I will, people can post their questions and then upvote them. So what did I have for breakfast? I'm going to upvote this. Oops. Oh, I'm not signed in. Can I do it? What's the chance I'm going to actually know my password to sign into Reddit? Oh, wow, that was really lucky. Okay. I'm going to upvote this question. Oops. And then I am going to answer it. What did I have for breakfast? I had some granola with some almond milk and a banana. That's what I had. Did I have anything else? I think that's all I had. Okay, so while I'm talking and wasting time, if any of you want to go and add some questions or upvote any questions, I'll come back to this in a moment. Okay, let me do something that that I need to. Hi, Shaid. I love those emojis. Oh, Baltimore, Papa Pistachio. Guess who is from the great city of Baltimore? Go O's. Me. That's where I grew up. I was not born in Baltimore. I was born in New Haven, Connecticut. Little fact there. When I was 4 weeks old, I moved to Baltimore. Other interesting tidbits. Here we go. Okay. Okay. It's you and me. Are you within my cave? I forgot something very important, which is my green paper, which I could use for my strange invisible tricks. But I'm going to put it on this laptop here. Let's see.
The K nearest neighbor, there's 5 of K, and they're all together with me today. The K nearest neighbor.
Wait, what's this? Okay, that's. So I think this is good now. Oh, there's something. What's down here? The paper. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I think it could use some auto tuning. All of my songs that aren't my songs,
I always forget the this
like this
dot,
one.
This dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot.
They could use some.
I always forget the this dot.
They could use some auto tuning because my voice is really not my instrument, so to speak. Okay, let's see. So, what else do I have to say? Do I have anything else to say? I don't think so. I'm going to get started soon. So, okay, I'm going to go look at some of these questions in a second. But what is going to happen on today's episode of The Coding Train? Well, guess what? You might be aware that I have been plugging away at making a lot of videos about machine learning, artificial intelligence. I have this syllabus from a course that is now wrapped up at NYU, but I'm over the course of this summer dedicated to making, I'm sort of committed to making all of the videos that go along with this course. Where I think if I look at the, these are all the examples here, I'm kind of somewhere here in week 3. And last week I did some videos about nearest neighbor algorithms and made a little movie recommendation system. But it's been a very long, hectic week. I need to take a break from this. So one of the things that I have is I have this Rainbow Topics repository, which is my current system for taking suggestions. And you can see people have added issues here. Sometimes they're questions, sometimes they're ideas of things I could do. And I sometimes like to sort it by thumbs up. And now I can look at this. So a couple things. Machine learning, that's what I'm working on. I'm going to get back to that probably next week. Computer vision, that would be, I've made a bunch of videos with various computer vision topics, and I definitely want to make some more. And then I noticed Minesweeper. So first of all, Minesweeper is the third most thumbs up-ed topic in my Rainbow Topics GitHub repository. So I would like to listen to what the people want. So I'm going to do it. It also says patron recommended, which means that somebody who is in the patron group and has access to the repository added that label, and I like to listen to the patrons as well. It's already getting warm in here. Hold on a second. One of these days, you can't see me anymore, but I'm going to attempt to turn on the climate control system in here. Okay, so that's what's going to happen today. Minesweeper. Now, to be honest with you, I definitely have played Minesweeper. In fact, I think I've been addicted to it in the past, but it's got to be at least, it's got to be at least 10 years, 15 years since I played Minesweeper. I don't actually really remember how it works, but I believe if I look at this, there is a, yeah. So Matthias Contilda here made this. Oh, and there's another one. So let's take a look. I haven't looked at this one. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is way better than anything I'm ever going to do. Oh, wait. Oh, this is just an image. So this is, it's a Minesweeper clone made in processing to download. How interesting. Let's download it. I don't want to look at the code. So let's see if we can download. This should hopefully just be the application. ES6 modules now natively, breaking news. I need a breaking news. So will somebody make me an excellent coding breaking news sound effect that I can play? Breaking news. It's just a timpani sound. ES6 modules are now natively supported in Chrome Canary behind the experimental web platform flag. There's your coding breaking news this morning. Okay, did this download? Let's open this up. Yes, this looks like an application here. I'm going to open it up. Yes, I want to open this from the internet. Internet, I'm opening you. Where are you? I don't need this. Where are you? Open, run. Minesweeper, there you are. Nope, there you are. Okay, that didn't work. I don't know why. Let's try this one. Okay, so I think the idea here is that there's a grid with a bunch of bombs, and I don't want to click on a bomb. And if I click on a cell, it's going to tell me how many cells next to it have a bomb. So only 1 out of these 8 neighbors has a bomb. So hopefully this one does not. Hopefully this one does not. Now this one has 2 neighbors. We can start, and then, oh boy. Then we can start to use our brain logic to understand, whoa, maybe if I zoom in even more here. Okay. There are 2, okay, wait a second here. Is there a bomb? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. There are 2 bombs within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. All right, whatever. Let's just guess. Wait, why won't it? Oh, game over. Oh. Okay, so it is now hereby established that I am terrible at playing the game of Minesweeper, but I think this gives me enough. But that's what yeah. So if you click on a cell with no bombs anywhere near it, it will unfold in a beautiful animation all the way around the grid until it finds some spots that have bombs next to it. So that's one thing that I really do need to think about here. Do I want to program this beautiful little animation or just have it show us all the spots? So that's something we're going to think about. I'm going to think about. Okay, I think I can do this. All right, here we go now. I'm going to go to my new favorite website, strawpoll.com. How long will it take me, Daniel Schiefman, to program Minesweeper? 15 minutes? 30 minutes? Can I spell minutes? 45 minutes? 60 minutes? Over 60 minutes. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Create poll. Straw poll / S314GGE. Okay, let's see. Let's view the results. So far, there are no results because I'm in the future. You haven't even seen this yet, but now you probably have because it's about 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Yeah, no way 15 minutes. Now here's the thing. Let me say a few things about this. I am not going to necessarily, actually, I mean, yeah. No, I'm going to program the whole thing. I mean, here's the thing. When I made, one of the reasons I like to do these challenges is to not do everything. I like to do the beginning steps of a project that show the fundamental pieces and that leave room for people watching or learning or following along to make their own, to finish the project, to make their own creative variation. So anyway, but I do, and often I do coding challenges in multiple parts, but I think when I do these simple, and Minesweeper's not that simple, simple game coding challenges, I like the idea of doing them all as one video, even if it's something like 60 minutes long. So, you know, I could change my mind, I guess, but I think I'm going to attempt to do this. I'm going to attempt to do this within an hour. That's going to be my personal goal in one video with no editing. So even if I get really stuck, you know, I won't edit. That's kind of my plan. Let's look at what you guys think. So I'm going to say 60 minutes. 30 minutes. You guys have over 60 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Not such a surprise there. Okay. Now I think I gave it enough time. Where are we? I've been streaming for 15 minutes. I've got until like 12:30. So a little bit of a shortened day here. I don't know since when a 2-hour live stream became like a short one, but that seems to be where I am these days. Ooh. Okay. What was I doing? Here we go. Now let me refresh this page and see. I don't think people are upvoting these questions. Can't the comments be right? Wouldn't it have like a? This shows like how little I know about how the internet works. Shouldn't these have like or maybe just there's okay. Well, let me answer some of these questions. Red Hen Dev, who posts a lot of great examples and actually some tutorials to YouTube as well on Twitter, asks, how do you deploy a Node.js server client multiplayer sketch such as in earlier tutorials using Express? In other words, how do you go from using a local server on one machine to serving from the web? Okay. I'm sorry. It says 4 points to the right of the username. Oh, it does. Why? I cannot see, but now I see. I wish this was like. It's been 30 minutes since I turned that camera on. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's talk about this. So there are different options. You need a machine that is connected to the internet. So I mean, that's on the simplest level. That's what you need. Your laptop that you're running. If I'm not running anything right now, but if you're running a server and you're looking at your web page, localhost on your laptop, somebody else could view that if your laptop is connected to the internet and that person happens to know your IP address. So ultimately, if you are a web server and you are open to the internet and is receiving, accepting of connections, then you're ready to go. Now, most likely, you don't want to, say, from your apartment, always leave your laptop on 24/7 to be a web server. So most of the time, if you want to deploy a web application somewhere where it can live more permanently, you're going to pay for access to a server through some service. Now, there are some free or sort of like semi-free options. I'm not sponsored by any web hosting or companies at the moment. If I were, I would do a little advertisement for them, but I'll name you a few that I happen to use or know about. DigitalOcean is one. The one reason why I'm mentioning that is there is the GitHub Student Developer Pack. So if you happen to be a student, you can get this developer pack, which gives you some free access to, it gives you $50 in credits to DigitalOcean. Looks like it gives you, another one I was going to mention is AWS. So 110 in bonus AWS credits. So Amazon Web Servers is another service you can use. DigitalOcean. Guess what? Oh, I forgot. I'm so excited. Not sponsored by this, but I am very excited about it. Glitch. So Glitch is a new service. It is a code editor. It is a sharing service. It is a place where you can make web applications and actually live, and you can run Node applications through Glitch and use it for free and run it on the web. So it's made by a company called Fog Creek, maybe. There's lots of wonderful people that I happen to know that work on it. For example, Jen Schiffer, who is a Twitter hero of mine. You should definitely follow her Twitter. If you don't, what is it? Jen Schiffer Twitter. This is like my jenmoney.biz. I don't know what her Twitter is. Let's see here. Here's her website. At Jen Schiffer. Coding Train is sponsored by at Jen Schiffer, Benjamin Button. Okay, so it's like the best. My Twitter account is like the lamest thing ever. It's like, I'm live streaming now, or I published a new video tutorial. Anyway, so glitch, that's a great, I want to do some stuff, some challenges with glitch, and use it, maybe have a guest. Hey, anybody from Glitch want to come and talk about it on the coding train? It seems like a wonderful service. I'm hoping to use it in one of my classes next year. Okay, where was I answering this question? So that's it. Then once you have this account, how do you deploy it? Well, how do you get you have to get your code files there somehow. Glitch, for example, has a web interface for doing that. AWS or DigitalOcean, you can FTP or SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, which is a way of transferring files from your laptop to this web server. Then you can log in. This is my this is my GIF, which is a weird thing to say. By the way, my whole life basically is just like, can I do something weird enough on the coding train that people will make a GIF out of it? So this is me logging into AWS and in terminal. And then you can type node this and forever this. And I do have some videos about how to do this. This is the worst answer to this question ever. So anyway, maybe I'll make some more video tutorials and that sort of thing about this. Okay, let me refresh this page and see what else we've got here. Oh yeah, so GitHub, so this was a good question. It would be magical if this were possible hosting from GitHub. So there is GitHub Pages, and I've made some videos about GitHub Pages. You cannot execute server-side code on GitHub Pages. It's just for hosting files. So this is one of the most confusing things about doing web programming, right? You could write a server in Node.js. You could write a game like Minesweeper in JavaScript. You could write a server in JavaScript. You could write a client-side JavaScript. I'm even confusing myself just talking about it. You could write a server, app.js. You could write a P5 sketch, maybe call that sketch.js. Both of those are JavaScript files. Both of those you might upload to a web server. The difference is, where do those run? When you write a Node program, that code executes on the server. When you write a P5 sketch, while the JavaScript file lives on the server, it actually gets sent to the client's computer, the web browser, and executes on the client's computer itself. So GitHub is a place where you can host your JavaScript files that get static files, really. It's called static because they don't execute and get served up and run on the client computer, but you cannot run your own server-side code. Why would you do one versus the other? Server-side code is good for saving to a database, communicating with certain authenticating to some like security privacy thing. There's all sorts of reasons why you might want to write server-side code, and if you go and look at some of my Node tutorials, you'll see reasons why. Okay. Good idea, Dan, doing this Minesweeper. No server-side and client-side code. Although I'm tempted now to do Minesweeper using glitch. Oh boy. Oh boy. Do I dare? Do I dare? This made me nervous, and now I feel like I have to pee. I got very anxious about this. Okay, all right, let's take a moment. So I answered one question. I answered two because I also said what I had for breakfast. Okay, so how's this going? Tell us more about your background. How did you get into programming? How did you get into teaching and writing? 23 minutes. Okay, I want to get into the coding stuff soon, so let me try to answer this question. I got into programming. I wish I had a good answer for this question, but I got into programming by attending a program called ITP. ITP is a 2-year graduate program located in Tisch School of the Arts, whose mission is to explore imaginative use of communications technologies. Guess what? That's the program where I teach now. I was a student there from 2001 to 2003. JT Nimoy came and did a workshop on processing, processing started appearing more at ITP then, and that's where I discovered it. And I just kind of never left ITP and started working on open source things. And honestly, here's the thing, and with this question, which is, how did you get into teaching and writing? For me, I never actively applied for anything or decided this is what I was going to do. I just started putting, I would make stuff and then put examples online and put a blog post online about the example. And through doing that, then people would find it. And so just sort of the act of always kind of release early, release often with just anything that I was doing kind of snowballed into just doing more and more of that and discovering that one of the things I enjoyed doing more was teaching and making examples than making actual projects or doing kind of freelance coding work itself. So that's kind of how it happened. Okay. Okay. So no, I did not go from student to teacher in 2 years. ITP has positions that are like research residencies that I did after I graduated, and I did workshops and things as part of that, and then maybe I taught one class. It was sort of a slowish process. Okay, maybe what I'll try to do is come back and answer some of these questions by typing. It's pathetic, I know. Later. Okay, so I don't know if this went well, my attempt to answer questions. Okay, but let's take a look at glitch. Let's see if this is a viable option for doing a coding challenge. I sort of feel like if I'm to use glitch, do I really want... Here's the issue. There's nothing about what I'm doing today that requires server-side programming. I could add stuff like a high score list and things like that, but I'm not... but let's take a look at this for a little bit. Now, I have a glitch account. Oh, sign in with Git. Oh, boy. Okay, hold on. Do you think we can manage this? Bear with me for a second. You know what? Okay, I'm going to come back to glitch another time because it's already 11 a.m. I have been streaming for 27 minutes. And I'm looking at the chat. And so I think I need to get going. Let me put on some music.
So this is random, this is noise,
it's so loud.
Perlin noise that is. In the core random algorithm, the actual random algorithm itself, those numbers aren't related at all. You pick, like, I'm picking random numbers between 0 and 10. 9, 2, 7, 6, 1,
Okay.
9, 4, 8, 9,
Some things
2,
I need to
1,
do is get
3.
the
I picked
whiteboard
9
ready.
apparently. But with Perlin noise, I might pick numbers like this. 2, 3, 4.
So Minesweeper, I have to think about
6,
this.
5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8.
What do I need for Minesweeper?
This is like Perlin noise performance art. 9, 2,
To have a grid. I guess I could use a two-dimensional array.
1, 3. I think 9 1.
And I need to have
3, 4.
each cell on the grid has a state.
So this is like Perlin noise performance art.
Does it have a bomb or not?
6, 1, 9, 4, 8. But with Perlin noise, I might pick numbers like this
Does it have a bomb or
3,
not?
4, 3, 4.
And
5,
then
6,
I also need to. It also needs to know whether it's been clicked on or not clicked on.
So this is
or whether
Perlin
it's-
noise that is. Perlin. This is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise
That's
that
really
is.
it. This is gonna be. This is actually. I think this is not going to be as hard as
This is Perlin.
programmer's famous last words. This won't be so hard. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's get going here. We're going to do my ridiculous thing. This is, by the way, a wonderful project called Superwoman. It's made by Kyan Yi. Apologies to Kyan if I mispronounced her name. I love this project. It's so lovely. It's so satisfying to watch these little characters fly as you hover your mouse over them. Okay, but the reason why I'm here on the P5Jess website is to download the entire, for the 7th time, because I'm a ridiculous person. And now I'm going to get empty example, and I'm going to put it on the desktop, and I'm going to call it now Minesweeper. Now here's the thing. I'm going to do some sort of little, my audio is quiet relative to the music, is that correct? Okay, let's confirm this. As always, I always forget the this dot. I'm talking, and the music is playing. I'm talking, and the music is playing. How is the volume of my voice as compared to the music? This interesting thing is I can't really even hear the music, so I'm probably way off the beat. this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot. I'm going to do dot. So what's too loud? Sounds fine to me. It's perfect. Okay, great. All right, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to chicken out about the glitch thing. I'm going to come back to that. Especially once I'm sponsored. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, what happened to my, oh, how interesting. Now when you download the example, it doesn't come with the libraries. It just links to the CDN. That's fine. And the min.js, that's fine. Okay, let's take this off. Okay, and let's go to the, let's run a little server. By the way, I had a straw poll up about, let's check this one out, by the way. Oh yeah, I had a straw poll up as to whether people preferred me to do this in JavaScript or Java. And it seems like I would like to do more coding challenges and things in processing. Good morning. Oh, I'm so glad to be back here on the coding train in the morning. I'm playing in the background a new song by somebody. Nearest neighbor, K nearest neighbor. It is called the K Nearest Neighbor remix by Third Culture Records. I guess it's from the latest live stream. I'm having trouble talking with this music on. So welcome, my name is Dan. I hope that I'm live streaming. I hope that everyone can hear me. I'm checking some chat things going. Okay, it is live. Okay, great. So this is the coding train. My name is Dan Schiffman, and I am here most Fridays, almost every Friday, often in the late afternoon, but I'm here this morning. It is now the end of the semester at New York University. Next week, if you happen to be in the New York City area, my students have a show of all their work Tuesday and Wednesday here at 721 Broadway. So there's a lot of stuff going on for setting up for that I'm doing this afternoon, and so I'm here this morning instead. So what's happening? Well, look at all aboard, toot toot, all sorts of stuff. Okay, nobody's complaining. This yellow, this slightly strange invisible mug is back. So I have a bunch of things that I want to discuss and go over and do, and Good morning. Oh, I'm so glad to be back here on the coding train in the morning. I'm playing in the background a new song by somebody. Nearest neighbor, K nearest neighbor. It is called the K Nearest Neighbor remix by Third Culture Records. I guess it's from the latest live stream. I'm having trouble talking with this music on. So welcome, my name is Dan. I hope that I'm live streaming. I hope that everyone can hear me. I'm checking some chat things going. Okay, it is live. Okay, great. So this is the coding train. My name is Dan Schiffman, and I am here most Fridays, almost every Friday, often in the late afternoon, but I'm here this morning. It is now the end of the semester at New York University. Next week, if you happen to be in the New York City area, my students have a show of all their work Tuesday and Wednesday here at 721 Broadway. So there's a lot of stuff going on for setting up for that I'm doing this afternoon, and so I'm here this morning instead. So what's happening? Well, look at all aboard, toot toot, all sorts of stuff. Okay, nobody's complaining. This yellow, this slightly strange invisible mug is back. So I have a bunch of things that I want to discuss and go over and do, and I think I've already forgotten what all those things are. Oh, does it say special Thursday episode in the, let me fix that. I'm going to change this to say every Friday. Okay, I should save that now. So first of all, to the young fellow who stopped me in Union Square this morning and said, "Hey, are you coding Rainbow?" Hello, I doubt you're actually watching, but that was like a lot of fun that somebody actually stopped me in the subway at Union Square to ask if I was coding Rainbow. And first of all, a couple things. Number one is, As much as I would like to be, I am not physically a rainbow. Though I am close to one, perhaps, maybe. Also, it's the coding train now. No more coding rainbow, sadly. Okay. Blue Boy 79, who has 2 exams tomorrow. You should probably go study for those exams. Okay, let's put back on. I realized I forgot to do something here, which I need to do. I'm going to put back on the. Actually, no. Before I do that, let me mention something. So, I'm trying a new experiment. I'm trying to figure out all sorts of different ways to interact with the audience. And some of you know that I have a patron group. I'm using a crowdfunding site called patreon.com. If you go to patreon.com/codingtrain, you are welcome to participate and contribute in this, and you'll get an invite to a Slack channel, which I'm not looking at, but I'm going to look at right now. Nobody's put any messages in the Slack channel, but there it is. Actually, there are some from earlier, but not since I started. Okay, but I've taken questions on Twitter, and I have this like GitHub repository. I'm trying all sorts of different things. Something that I thought I would try that someone suggested. There is a Coding Train subreddit that somebody created, and I put there a question thread for Friday, May 12th at 10:30 a.m. So here is where you could. If this goes well, I'll do this every week. I will. People can post their questions and then upvote them. So what did I have for breakfast? I'm going to upvote this. Oops. Oh, I'm not signed in. Can I do it? What's the chance I'm going to actually know my password to sign into Reddit? Oh, wow, that was really lucky. Okay. I'm going to upvote this question. Oops. And then I'm going to answer it. What did I have for breakfast? I had some granola with some almond milk and a banana. That's what I had. Did I have anything else? I think that's all I had. Okay, so while I'm talking and wasting time, if any of you want to go and add some questions or upvote any questions, I'll come back to this in a moment. Okay, let me do something that that I need to. Hi, Shaid. I love those emojis. Oh, Baltimore, Papa Pistachio. Guess who is from the great city of Baltimore? Go O's. Me. That's where I grew up. I was not born in Baltimore. I was born in New Haven, Connecticut. Little fact there. When I was 4 weeks old, I moved to Baltimore. Other interesting tidbits. Here we go. Okay. Okay. It's you and me. Are you within my cave? I forgot something very important, which is my green paper, which I could use for my strange conductor's hat. The only reason, the thing is, I kind of want to wear this, but it doesn't have green in it, but I guess this particular shade of blue, it kind of gets keyed out. So it's got this weird invisible head thing, but maybe I'll wear it for the beginning of this. Okay, ready? All aboard. Here we are on the coding train. I'm going to do a coding challenge today that was requested, highly requested, the number 3 requested topic, Minesweeper. Thank you to Firesoul, who suggested this on August 14th, 2016. Today is May 12th, 2017, so I did get to it within a year. And I have never programmed this before, and I think probably the last time I played Minesweeper was, it's got to be at least 15 years ago, but I do know how it works. So I'm just going to get started. Let's see. I expect this is probably going to take, if I can do this in under 60 minutes, that's going to be good for me. You can see how long this video is. I don't even know, because I am in the present time right now. Okay. I have no idea what's going to happen next, but I'm just going to get started. Okay, what are some things I need to do here? I have to do this. Okay. First thing that I need to do is, I think what I should do is I should make an object. I should make an object called a cell. Let's think about this. So Minesweeper, and by the way, Minesweeper, I want to use something besides bombs. So Bees and Bombs on Twitter suggested why not bees. So I like this idea of what we're going to do is make a bee sweeper, where the idea here is there's a grid, and any one of these cells could either have a bee in it or nothing in it. So the cell should have a state. And we could think of that state as like B. maybe it's true or false. So each cell will have a state, true or false. Each cell I might need to know like where it is and its width and height. You know, it's kind of redundant information, but that's kind of useful. I need to know where to draw it. And then I also want to know its state, like has it been revealed or not? So that's also, I can actually think of that as a Boolean, revealed, true or false. So, right, because if it's revealed, I'll see what's there. It could be blank if nothing's there, or the B if the B is there, or it could also have a number. So, for example, this cell would have the number 2 because it's got 2 B's next to it. This cell would also have the number 2 because it has 2 B's next to it. This would have a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, a 2, a 2, a 1, a 1. So if it's revealed, we either see blank or B or a number. Okay, so I think this is kind of all we need. This is going to be really hard. It's going to take me a very long time because what I was about to say was like, this will be easy. It'll be done in 10 minutes, which is never true, especially not for me. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the computer now, and let's add some of these things. This dot B equals true. This dot revealed equals true. So let's just pretend for a moment that every single cell has a B and is revealed. So now what do I want to do here? I need to store all of these cells in some sort of data structure. Now, there's a variety of ways I could do this. What would probably make sense is for me to store them in a so-called two-dimensional array. And so we can think of this as like, every single cell is going to be in a big array. So it's a list. But inside that array, maybe each row is also an array. That way, what this allows me to do is if I want to say, if I call this, maybe I'll call this the grid. If I reference grid index 1, a comma 2, comma 3 or something. So this is row 0, this is row 1, and then column, I would have this or something. So that would be that particular cell. And I wouldn't write it like this. I would write it like this. So I think this makes sense. I could use just a regular array, and then I could always convert a column and row location to the spot in the one-dimensional array. And I've done this quite a bit in different videos about pixels and image processing. But I think this makes sense. The only thing that's a little bit weird is typically when I do this, I actually think about this as the column, and this is the row, kind of like X, comma Y, column, row. And the way I just described it here, so really what I might do is say like this is the first column is the first element, then the next column is the second element of that array. So there's any number of ways you could sort of think of this or do this. But I'm going to do this here in the code now. Now it's a little bit tricky in JavaScript to make a two-dimensional array. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make a function. I'm going to call it make 2D array. I've done this before. I have like a total deja vu moment here. I've done this in a previous coding challenge. And actually, I think there's a GitHub issue thread on the Rainbow Topics forum, GitHub repository about how to make a generic function that makes you any dimensional array. But let's just say I make a two-dimensional array with a certain number of columns and a certain number of rows. And so I'm going to say array equals a new array with a certain number of columns. And then for every column, make that an array with the number of rows in it. Okay? So I have an array of all the columns, which are all like the x's, and then each one of those is an array of all the rows of all the y's. And this is in JavaScript, typically you'll see this. Right, which is like that's how you make an array. But I can also say if I want the array to have a specific number of elements to start, I can say new array number of columns. Okay, so what I want to do is now I'm going to have a global variable called grid, and I'm going to say grid equals make 2D array with now how many columns and how many rows. All right, so let's just do something simple here. Let's just say that these are going to be 10 by 10. These are going to be 10 by 10, little 10 by 10 pixel squares. So if my canvas is 400 by 400, then I'm going to have 40 columns and 40 rows. Okay, so that, let's do that. So I'm going to make so first I have to say let's make create canvas width of 400 comma 400. And let's make it smaller just to start, 200 comma 200, and then make the grid, make an array of 20 by 20. And I'm gonna, okay. And you know, I could use math to clean this up later. We'll do that later. Okay. Is this fun? This doesn't feel so fun yet. Maybe it'll get fun soon enough. So now, and actually, let's have a global variable. Like, let's just do this. And now I'm going to say for var I equals 0, I is less than the number of columns. I now need to initialize, then I'm going to use j for the number of rows. And now I need to just initialize every single spot to be a new cell. So what we've got now here is this idea of, okay, we need to have the game board is a grid of cell objects. It's going to have a certain number of columns and a certain number of rows. So I make a two-dimensional array to store all the cells, and then I loop through for every column, for every row, make a new cell. Now let's go into the draw function. Let's say background 0 and do this, and I'm going to say show. Okay, this is going to actually be an edit point because I just hate when the camera goes off, but otherwise I'm not going to do any editing. Let's say show. Okay, so the idea here now is I want to be able to see what's in these cells. So I need to go, and you know what I really want to do? I want to make a separate JavaScript file called cell.js. Because I have a feeling ultimately there's going to be a lot of code that starts going into the cell. So I'd like to save that somewhere else. And once I've done that, I just need to make sure I also add a reference to it in my index.html file. Okay. Whoops, what's going on? Cannot read property 0 of undefined sketch.js 25. So we already have an error here. What? Save. Sketch.js 22. What do I have now? What's wrong? Oh, look at this. You know what would be nice? If I write a function called make2darray and I create a two-dimensional array, you know what I need to do? I need to return it. So return the array. Okay, great. Now, show is not a function. Okay, great. So now we need to write a function called show. And I'm going to attach the functions to the prototype. This is a way of doing object-oriented programming in JavaScript where I use this constructor function to make an object, and every object that is made with that constructor function will have a set of methods as part of its prototype, one of which is show. Another video that covers this another video that covers this in more detail, which I will link to in the description, and also someday maybe I'll use this ES6 syntax, which is a little bit different and perhaps a bit nicer. Remains to be seen. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to draw a rectangle at the x location with a width and height that's the size of the rectangle of each cell. But it doesn't have, this cell doesn't have an x, a y, or a size. So let's give it that. X, y, w. This dot x equals x. This dot y equals y. This dot w equals w. Now when I create each cell, if I have a global variable called w, which is 10, each cell is going to be a 10 by 10 pixel thing. Let's make it 20 by 20 to make it bigger. Then I can also say, right, I can actually then calculate the number of columns and rows, which is the width divided by that size. The rows is the height divided by that size. And probably what I should also do is say floor, because I don't want to have like 21.3. columns or 21.7 rows. It needs to be a whole number, an integer value. So let's see, how are we doing here? Now that I've done that, I can make each cell at its I times W location, or its J times W location. So why is that, right? So each one of these basically has, let me find my eraser here. Each one of these has a I index, its column. It also has a J index, its row. So if this one is 2, 1, it's actually, the rectangle itself, if each one of these is 10 by 10, would be at 20, 10 pixels. If it's 20 by 20, it would be at 40, 20. So I need to calculate its pixel location by multiplying, by taking its index I, j, and expanding it by the number of pixels, which is the size. Yay! Yay me and setting the grid size things. Okay. So now, and its size is just W. So again, some funny, none of this is really going to change. Does it need to be in the object? It could just be a global variable, but what the hey, here we go. Okay, so now we should be able to see a whole bunch of rectangles. Aha, lovely. Now, look at this. It's sort of sad, like they have this, what's going on here? So let's figure out what we're going to color them. I'm going to say stroke, 0. And no fill. Let's do that. Now we see nothing. I'm going to say fill, 255. Now we see the outline, but it's kind of sad. Like our math is off. These little details really bother me. So let's fix this. What's the best way to do it? I don't know. This might just actually work. That's fine. Let's just do it that way. So I'm just actually make the canvas 1 pixel wider. Everything's happy now. Okay, so now we see that grid. Now here's the thing. What I want to say in the show function is, if it's not revealed, well, actually, it's always gonna. I think we're always gonna draw a white rectangle. You know what? Actually, what I should do, this will make more sense, is I should make the background white. And I'm always going to draw a no-filled rectangle. And if it is revealed, then I might put some other things in it. For example, if it's a B, then let's draw, I don't know what, I'm just going to draw an ellipse. And so I'm going to draw a little circle if it's a B. And let's see what happens there. Okay, whoops, but the circle's in the wrong place because, but I can change that. I can say ellipse mode corner. So I can have the ellipse reference point be the corner. Oh, but I want it to appear in the center. So never mind. I'm going to make its location plus W. So I'm going to just draw in a little ellipse. I'm just kind of moving the ellipse around. So if it's a B, there's a circle there. They all have a B. So let's now do something different. Let's just say if random1 is less than 0.5, then this dot B is true. Otherwise, this dot B is false. So now half of them, or about half of them randomly are going to be B's. And there we go. So now we see we're on our way to actually making this game. Okay? So we now have a setup where we have a grid. Each cell has a state. It can be a B or not a B. And we can visualize that. B design aside. Okay, so now I should say that none of them are revealed. At the beginning, none of them are revealed, right? Ta-da! So now here's the thing. Now what I need to do, we're really moving along here. We don't have too much farther to go. Now what I need to do is I need some mechanism to say, like, when I click on one of these, I want to reveal it. I want to show what's underneath. Click on it, reveal it. So now what I need to do is I need some sort of function to determine if the mouse has clicked on that particular cell. So one way to do that, first of all, would be to write a function contains x, y. So in other words, I want to, this is a function. I want to be able to say, does this cell contain a point? Is that point inside this cell? And so what are the boundaries of this cell? Well, if x is greater than this dot x plus this dot x, and x is less than this dot x plus this dot w, right? Because if that new, right? If this is a cell, I want to know, is this point between x and x plus w? Or is it between y and y plus w? And I'm using w as this generic variable name width. And since these are all squares, the width and height are equal. I would have to rethink this in perhaps if things were different, and maybe there's a better variable name for this, but w for the sort of length of a side of the rectangle. Okay, so what I can actually do here, and I don't need to actually have this if statement, I just want to return the result of this. A point is inside if x is between the boundaries and, this is going to get very long, y is between the boundaries. So the same old thing, right? So return this the result evaluating this long if statement. Return x being between the left and right, and y being between the top and bottom. Why am I doing this? Because what I also want to do now is handle the mouse pressed event. So using P5, there's a global function called mouse pressed, where what I can do is I can say if grid contains mouse x comma mouse y. I wrote that function because what I want to do is say, let me check every single spot in the grid to see if it contains, when the mouse is pressed, to see if it contains the mouse point. If it does, that's a point that I've clicked on. And now I can do something about that. I can say grid ij reveal. Right, so I can execute a function like reveal. So let me now go into the cell object and I can write a new function called reveal. And here's the thing. I want to say this dot revealed equals true. So even if I clicked on it before and it's already true, it's true. So let's see how this works. Well, that was weird. So I must have a mistake somewhere because I'm clicking on some. So let's see here. Let's see, where do I have a mistake? I see somebody in the chat, grid ij. Oops, I. Whoops, that should say ij. And this is right, this is right, this is right. Okay, I comma j. There we go, that should fix it. So, whoa, what craziness is going on? Oh, this is kind of a fun effect. If grid I comma j contains mouse x and mouse y, and so, okay, let's look at my reveals function, my contains function. If x is greater than this dot x and x is less than this dot x plus y is greater than this dot y, this looks right. What have I missed here? Contains has an error, clearly. Looking at this. Greater than x and less than x plus w. Did I not? No, I've set w. Y is greater than this. Ah, this is the mistake. Look at that. So I've really, it's the opposite of the usual this dot mistake. And this is a bit of a problem, and this is a very common programming headachy thing, which is that these variables are the arguments to the function, the parameters of the function. They're coming in, and I'm testing them against the object's own x and y. So the object's own x and y is this dot, and the arguments that are coming in are x and y. So this is where I don't want a this dot. Okay, great. So now we should see whenever I click on one now, and what I'm going to do here also, just to be able to see that this is really working, is where do I, if there's a B, otherwise, let's draw like a gray rectangle. And let's be explicit about everything. So let's sort of see here. So now I'm just also, whenever I click on it, it will draw something. So we can see, oh, and I should have, we don't need to redo the stroke. The stroke will always stay. So we can see if there's a B circle. If there's not, there's a gray rectangle. And I meant that for that to be much lighter. So something like this. So I just want to see that it's been clicked on. OK, great. We're doing well now. Now, here's the thing. The amazing thing is that somebody's giving me some good advice in the chat of a better way that I could do this. Now, here's the thing. What do I also want? I want to be able to determine how many B's are neighboring a particular cell. So I need a function. I'm going to call it count neighbors. And I wonder if that's something, yeah, I'll just do it on the fly. Count neighbors equals a function. OK, so first I want to do is just say total is 0. And maybe I could call this count B's or something. So first of all, if this cell is a B, return -1. Let's just say if it's a B, return -1, because it's irrelevant. I only want to count the number of B's next to cells that aren't B's. Now what I need to do is I need to look at all the neighbors. Well, how do I look at all the neighbors? A particular cell has how many neighbors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so actually I can do a little loop that's between an offset of -1 and an offset of +1. Right? I want to look at every neighbor that's -1 and +1. I could do these each individually, like just check each one, but let's do it in a loop. So what I want to say now is, OK, I'm thinking. Let's do for I equals -1, I is less than, or let's say less than or equal to +1, I ++. So I here is now the offset in the x direction. J equals -1, J is less than or equal to 1, J ++. And so I want to look at a particular neighbor is grid. Oh, look at this. These keep track of their own x and y, but don't keep track of their own index. What do I want to do about this? So this is really, in some ways, this function isn't really part of a cell, or is it a grid function? Anyway, there's a bunch of different ways I could do this. I'm actually just going to, in a very redundant way, whoops, I'm going to, this is just for total overkillness. And you know what? Actually, I like this. Because you know what I can do is if I send the index into the grid, then I could just calculate the x and y here. Because I could say it's I times w, and the y is j times w. So let's change how that works. And let's go into Sketch, and let's change how this works. So I could just make a new cell that's at I, j, w. Right? Because now what I can do here is I can say this dot I plus I, this dot j plus j. So these are all the neighbors I want to look at. I want to look at I minus 1 I plus 1 I want to look at I plus 1 j minus 1. I want to look at every single neighbor. From -1 to 1, okay? Like, I don't know if I'm totally being clear. I want to say like I minus 1, comma j minus 1. Then I want to say, I, comma j minus 1. I plus 1, j minus 1. I, comma j, right? I, comma j minus 1. I, comma j. I, comma. You can. Edit that part out. No, I said I wasn't going to do any edits. I don't know why I'm trying to list all the neighbors. I think if you get out a piece of paper and draw it, you'll be able to do it. I got to keep moving. I got to get this video finished. Okay, so if neighbor.b total plus plus. Okay, so if the neighbor has a b, increase that total. And I guess I could say at the end now, return total. Now here's the thing. I really don't want to check myself, right? Because I'm not a neighbor for myself. So whenever I and j are both 0, that offset is 0, then I don't want to check. But the thing is, if I was a b, I wouldn't be in here. If I was a b, I wouldn't be checking my neighbors in the first place. So we can assume that I'm not a b. So total, even if neighbor is myself, total won't go up. So I can skip checking that. So great. So now I can return total. So what I want to do, and so here's the thing. I think actually, let's just create a variable which is neighboring called neighbor count. Right? I'm going to create a variable called neighbor count, and when I do count b's, instead of returning it, I'm going to say this dot neighbor count is that total. Because I think what I'm going to do is after I create the whole grid, I'm just going to count every single one. Now the thing is, I can't just call count neighbors here. I've got to make the full grid because I can't count neighbors if I haven't made certain cells that are next to that one. So, I could just count the neighbors when I click on it, but I might as well just count them all. That way, when I click on it, what I can actually do here is in the display, right? Where's my show function? If it's a b, it's got a circle. If it's not, I can also say text, and let's say text align center, text align center. Then I want to say text, then I want to say fill 0, and then I want to say text neighbor count this dot x, this dot y. And I'm sure I'm going to have to move the text around, and it should be this dot neighbor count. Okay, how are we doing here? Now I know there's going to be a problem, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Oh, I didn't have a problem. Look at that. Okay, 0 neighbors. Well, first of all, that's not right. It's in the wrong place, and it's the wrong number. So something is going wrong, but that's okay. We're going to figure this out. Okay, so first of all, it's in the row. Let's at least fix where it is. So let's move the text over. So I'm going to place it in the center. And then but it's in the center, but it's kind of at the top. So I want to actually place the text at the bottom, maybe minus like 2 pixels or something. So let's do that. And maybe let's make it minus 4 pixels. This is obviously the most important thing. 6 pixels. Okay, so this looks good. I'm getting the numbers, but I am not seeing the right number. So it's not counting the right number of neighbors. So something is clearly wrong. So first of all, let's just see here, is this actually happening? Let's say console.log total. So that didn't happen. I thought I was counting all the b's. Oh, look at this. Just a little typo. When you call a function, you've got to add the parentheses. Referencing just the function as a variable, you don't need the parentheses. The parentheses execute the function. So I was missing that. And grid is not a function. Okay. Count neighbors is not a function. What do I have wrong here? Contains equals function count. Oh, it's called count b's. It also would be nice to name the function correctly. Count b's. All right. Cannot read property 0 of undefined. Aha! I thought we might have a problem. So what is the problem? The issue is, okay, this is going to be a little edit point here. if I'm on an edge, there's no neighbor to the left or there's no neighbor up to the top. So only cells that are not along the edge have all 8 neighbors. Otherwise, there's fewer neighbors, and I've got to account for that. So what I wanted to account for that, there's a variety of ways I could do that. Let's go to this count bees function. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to call this x off. I'm going to just rename these y off. Oops, x off. So it's like the x offset and the y offset. I think this will be a little bit clearer in terms of a variable name. Then what I want to do is I'm going to say I equals this dot I plus x off, and var j equals this dot j plus y off. So this is actually, the neighbor is just at I comma j now. So I want to break those out into separate variables, because now what I can do is I can say, as long as I is not equal to, as long as I is greater than -1 and I is less than columns, and j is greater than -1 and j is less than rows, then I can go forward and do this. Right? So I want to, if it's something off the grid, ignore it. So hopefully this helps. And now, 5. Whoa, there are 5 bees next to this. 2. So this looks, let's just try to click a button. And actually, let me just reveal them all so we can see if this, let me just turn true on. So now, there we go. So is this right? This looks right, right? This cell has 3 neighbors. This one has 4. This one has 3. Are they correct on the edges? 3. So this looks good. Great. Awesome. Okay. We're getting somewhere. How long have I been doing this? Oh, there's all this stuff happening in the chat that I'm not looking at. Okay. 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 Let's go. I think we're just about ready to actually start making the game happen. So we can start working on the game mechanic. So here's the thing. What I want to do now is Minesweeper, I think, starts with a fixed number of mines, or bees in this case. So what I actually don't want to do now, everything's going to not be a bee to start. This dot b equals false. What I want to do is have a variable. I'm going to call it something like total bees. And we're going to start with 10 bees. So there'll be 10 bees randomly placed. And so now what I need to do is I need to pick 10 random spots. Now here's the thing. I could just pick a random I and j, but I don't want to pick the same spot twice. So I'm going to do something a little bit goofy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add to setup an algorithm for pick total bees spots. So for var I equals 0, I is less than total bees, I plus plus. Now what I was saying is I could pick, and I'm going to use n here because I could say var I equals floor random columns. Let's just start this way. J equals floor random rows. Okay, so I could just do this, and then I'm going to say grid I j dot b equals true. So let's do this, and let's go here and say let's set everything to be revealed. So whoa, okay, so I clearly did something wrong, that they're all in the diagonal. What typo do I have here? I did I again. Okay, I and j. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted wrong. 10. There's 10, but I'm going to do this a bunch of times. At some point, it's going to pick the same spot twice, and so there could be 10. So there's a variety of ways I could do this. I could check, is that already a B? If not, pick another spot. But I'm going to do it this way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say options is a new array. And then I'm going to go through every possible spot. So I'm going to do all the columns and all the rows. And I'm going to say options.push a little array with I and j in it. So I'm going to create an array that has every possible option in it. And just so you see it, I'm going to say console.log options. And whoops, let me take out this console.log that's in the countBs function. I don't want that anymore. I'm done with that. So we can see this is now, oh, this is hard to look at. We can see these are all the spots, right? 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2. The reason why I'm doing this is now what I could do is, where am I? Sketch. What I could do is here, instead of just picking a random column and row, I could say index equals floor random options dot length. So give me a random option, and then var I equals index 0, var j equals index 1. So that option has a column and row location in it, so I can set that to be true. And then what I can do is I can say options.splice index, 1. So this then deletes that spot so it's no longer an option. And I probably could do that in one line of code because splice probably returns the one that you're, index, sorry. This is choice equals, so the thing that I'm choosing, well, this is confusing, right? The index is the random index into the options array, and then the column and row location is part of that choice. So I probably could, so then I'm deleting it. So, okay. So now let's try this again. And this seems to work. And what I'm going to do, interestingly enough, there's a way that we're going to be able to check if this is actually working. So what I want to actually do is let's just take this splice right up here, because I have a feeling splice returns the one that you picked. So that's a little bit nicer, right? So pick a random index, take it out and delete it, and then set that to be true. So now, oops. So it doesn't. Splice does not. So that's fine. Okay, so let's leave it this way, and there we go. Now let's make sure this is really working. What I'm going to do is say total B's equals, we have 20 by, what is this, 10 by 10? So let's make total B's 100. There we go. So we can see that's working. If I had just, it was able to pick every single spot. But again, 10, we get 10. Total B is 20. We get 20. There we go. Okay, that's good. Now, I don't want to reveal anything. And also, the way Minesweeper works, design-wise, is if it has no neighbors, you actually don't see the 0. So let's just change that in how it's drawing. So where I have the show function is only draw the text if this .neighbor count is greater than 0. Okay. There we go. So now we're seeing the final result. This is the end of the game, right? You're done. We found all of the B's. My numbers are wrong? Somebody in the chat is saying my numbers are wrong. I think they're right. Look at this. Pop is what I want. Removes that element from the array. But I thought pop, you can't give it a specific index. Can you? Let's take a short little digression, and look at pop JavaScript array. So does pop, I don't think, yeah. It only removes the last element of the array, so I can't give it a specific index. Anyway, I could shuffle the array and then pop them off the end, but whatever. There's lots of other ways you could do this. This is my way. I did it. No copyright violation here. Okay, if I just sing if I sing incredibly poorly one line from a song, do I really violate copyright? I don't think so. Okay, so now, let's now Go back to cell, and nothing is revealed. False. So now what I'm going to do is I can start playing Minesweeper. Oh, 1. 1. Ah, okay. So this is actually working in the sense that I can play this. But when I click on one of these, if it has no neighbors, it should reveal everything around it that doesn't have. Oh, this is the one tricky part. Alert, alert. Train, help, thing, pull into station. This is the trickiest part. Okay. I need to figure out a way to reveal all the adjacent cells that don't have a B. And if any of those adjacent cells also have a count of 0, all of the adjacent cells next to those should also be revealed. So how do I do that? Well, where do I need to start this? Okay. Oh yeah, this is basically flood fill. Someone is saying flood fill. This is like a flood fill algorithm. Because what I'm, and maybe I'll come back to that at the end. Google flood fill, I think we're kind of doing that all of a sudden, which is exciting, embedded in this video here. Okay, so flood fill from Wikipedia, also called fill, is an algorithm that determines the area connected to a given node. Okay, the chat message went away too quickly. Okay, now, let's see here. So I'm not going to look it up how it works. I'm just going to make up my own way of doing this. So okay, so this, okay, let's trace out what's going on here. When I click the mouse, I call reveal. When I call reveal, I set this.revealed equal to true. Now, what do I want to do? Different things. So if this.neighbor count equals 0, flood fill time. It's flood fill time. Do, 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 do. It's flood fill time. I could do better, but well, anyway. So, okay. So now what I need to do is I need to go and look at all of the neighbors. Now, we've done this before. So I think what I should do is I should probably call a function, which is going to, we'll call it this.floodfill. Because we might need to call this somewhat recursively. Cell.prototype.floodfill equals function. Okay, so one thing we need to do, just like we did with neighbor count, we can repurpose some of this code. We can start to look at all the neighbors, right? So, oops, I'm missing a bracket. Okay, so this was the code that looks at all of the neighbors, and it should reveal them also. Ah, this is perfect. All I got to do is say this, as long as it's not a B, right? Okay, I missed the one important, I'm like thinking this through, and I'm not able to say what I'm thinking, right? So how does this work? Right, we want to look at all the neighbors. If the neighbor is not a B, reveal it. That's actually, it's as simple as that. If the neighbor is not a B, neighbor.reveal. And this is actually going to trigger, because reveal is going to set that equal to true, and it's going to check, reveal is going to set the neighbor's reveal to true and have it flood fill if it's 0. So there's going to be redundancy here because it's going to end up checking some spots, but let's just see. Let's just see if this, was it really as simple as that? I can't imagine. Okay, something went wrong there, clearly. So first of all, I clicked on a B. Okay, that kind of worked, but I got some errors here. I think I'm getting close. Oh, maximum call stack size exceeded. Aha! I also don't want to reveal it if it's already been revealed. Got it. If neighbor is not a B and neighbor is not revealed, right? Otherwise I'm going to be stuck in an infinite loop of like, this neighbor, right, because if I say to my neighbor, reveal yourself, and then my neighbor says, hey, you reveal yourself, and I say, no, you reveal yourself. I say, no, you reveal yourself, you reveal yourself, you reveal yourself, everybody reveal themselves, you get to reveal yourself. Then we've got a problem. Okay, so that should help. There's still some. Okay, that's a 1. That's a 1. Ah! That was exciting. Okay. Okay, now what's going on? When I click on a B, something weird happens. So it seems to be working unless I click on a B. Right? Why is it? Yeah, so that's working really, really well. So why is it doing it when I click on a B? So let's trace that out. When I click on a B, mouse pressed, I call reveal. Then, in the reveal function, if neighbor count equals 0, so is neighbor count 0 when I click on a B? Shouldn't neighbor count be -1 when I click on a B? Why are other things being revealed? So let's do console.log this.neighbor count to see what's going on here. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. Find me at 1. This has got to be it here, right? 0. So it did get 0. And then why did it do anything else? What am I missing? Right? Shouldn't that just have ended? What else happens when it's a B? Huh. Let's get out of the loop here. That's not the issue. I'm confused. When you click on a B, return -1. But where am I returning something? It's if. But I don't see, why wouldn't this just finish? Returning -1, not assigning it to a. Oh, am I? I return -1 here. Of course. There we go. Yeah. So if this dot B, this dot neighbor count equals -1, and then I'll just say return. Okay, that's what my problem. I had that historically. There we go. I can keep playing. Hey, I think we made Minesweeper. Okay, so now, hold on. If it's a B, then the game is over. Okay, how long have I been doing this? Somebody tell me how long this has been going on for. Okay. Wait. Phew. All right, low battery on my soundboard. Everything's falling apart. Okay, so here, reveal. If it contains, so I could just check, if it was, why don't we just check it here? If grid I, j, j dot b, game, let's call game over. So if it's a B, if that spot is a B, let's call a function called game over. And in the game over function, which I will put arbitrarily here, what I'm going to do is loop through everything and just reveal everything. Reveal equals true. So that's how I'm going to have game over. Okay. So I think we've made this game now. Oh, shoot. Did I not hit save? Wah, wah. If grid, wait, what did happen? Grid ij reveal is not a function. What do you mean it's not a function? What did I do? I've lost my, markers. Markers. There's a thing where you could do markers. Okay, hold on. We'll add that maybe. Hold on. Markers will be an exercise for the audience. Well, what's wrong here? if it's a b, well, let me just run this again. What did I do? What have I done? Oh, revealed. Revealed, not reveal the function. This is one of the tricky things in JavaScript. You can't have a variable. I mean, functions are variables. So you can't say reveal equals 5, function reveal equals some function. They're the same. You've overridden what you've done. My variable name was reveal. Okay. Okay. Game over. So I think that we have now made Minesweeper. This took me about 50 minutes. I'm under an hour. I made Minesweeper faster than it took me to make Pong. Now, having the game start over, being able to add markers. So being able to add markers is a way I think that you could like note that you know there's a bomb there, which is going to help you as you move along. But I'm going to finish this coding challenge. I'm going to leave that as an exercise. So this is going to get posted. You will see the code for it on GitHub in a link that look in this video's description for the code. There should be a README file there as well, where if you make a variation of this, you can link to it. Maybe you could design some beautiful bees. It could have sounds. And one thing that you could do that would be really nice is you could animate the flood fill algorithm. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to have a total number of bees make it just 2 right now. So when I click, it flood fills it instantly. But I could animate like just one at a time each frame, reveal the next set of neighbors. That would be an exciting, nice little thing to do. What other kinds of clever variations on the game can you make? How can you make it more beautiful? Could you use some sort of weird hexagonal grid? There's all sorts of possible ways you could improve and change this. It needs a win condition. It needs a way to start over. It could use like some settings of like, I want to add, I want it to have 20 bees. I want the certain number of columns and rows. So you could build a whole interface for it. There is so many things you could do. In the chat, someone is suggesting to do this with all DOM elements. So don't use canvas at all, but maybe these are all divs. That would be an exciting thing to try too. You got little CSS animations as you click on things. So many possible things you could try to do. But there it is. Minesweeper in under an hour. Multiplayer with the server is something you could do. I hope you make some variations. I hope you share those with me. And next week on my live stream, I will share hopefully a whole bunch of variations and things that people make with this game. Sweeper. Thanks, and see you in a future coding challenge. All right. Hey, what time is it? It is 12:07, so I do have to get going. I did make so there's just going to be one new video from this week, which is this video. How was that? Was that good? Useful? Can you playing with an AI hexagonal grid? Okay. So what else can I do today? Maybe answer a few questions. Can I look on Twitter? I'm looking at the chat now. Boy, that was actually quite fun to make. I want to get rid of the console logging. Where did I have that? So the question is, should I make a quick intro to this coding challenge? How do I imagine playing Minesweeper with an AI? It's a great question. Well, I imagine that this is a pretty solved game. In other words, we don't need some kind of complex neural network-based machine learning system, although that would be interesting to try, reading the pixels of what's going on and knowing where to click next. I mean, if you look at this, I think it's just a matter of, doing what I would do in my head, which is sort of, let's put this back to a reasonable number. Let's put this to total bees 10. So looking at this, there would be a way to check every spot and know if there has to be a B there after you've clicked. And then, if you know that, then you could really check every spot. And actually, I would do the opposite. I would check every spot. And for example, this spot, if there were a B here, then this spot, this would have to be a 2. So I guess I could determine where I know there. So I know there has to be a B here because this has a 1, okay? But there's only one spot available. So I would mark in my sort of brain that I know there's a B there. Then I would ask the question, would there be a B here? No, there can't be because then this would be a 2. So then I would click here next. And then I suppose if there's no known place to click, I could just use a probability and say, so like, let me start over. I could say, okay, well, where is there the least likelihood of there being another B? Well, I know that there's only each one of these spots just has a 1 out of 8 chance. So that's a good place to try. I could try there. Okay, now what's the probability? I could do sort of like a probability analysis for every single spot and then pick from the lowest probability. Okay, so that would be a great exercise for somebody to try to build an AI. Can you release sometimes an overview which countries your live stream are watching? Would be interesting. Yeah, ask me that on Twitter because it takes about 24 hours, but I'll get from today's live stream, I'll get a report of through the YouTube analytics of like all the different countries that are watching, and I'm happy to like tweet a screenshot of that or something. But I won't be able to do that until tomorrow, and I won't remember. So, but if you tweet me, everyone put it on GitHub. Should I put it on GitHub right now? Let's do that. Why not do that during the actual live stream? And I'm just going to do it because I can log in now. I don't remember my password is the problem. That's the problem. See, this is the thing. I have this like sophisticated. I can get it on my phone. Okay, if you guys don't mind bearing with me, I use 1Password, Buzz Marketing 1Password by accident. Maybe potential sponsor. So I have to look up, and this, normally I would have a Chrome extension that would just enter it, but I'm logged in on this computer, not the way I normally log in. And I have like 2-step verification. I got all the privacy stuff. So I'm looking for my GitHub password. And so let's look at the password. Okay. Now I need to open 2-step verification. 2-step verification. I feel like I was hoping the Minesweeper video would somehow be more entertaining in a delightfully ridiculous way, but I feel like I was much too serious about programming it. Where is my authenticator? Here it is. 259949. Okay, so now I should be able to upload files. So what coding challenge number is this? 71? Can anybody tell me? Where is it? Minesweeper. Minesweeper. So I think it's 71. Coding challenge 71. Minesweeper. It was fun and useful. Good, thanks. I'm always doubting myself here. I think uploading code. Why not? What's the worst thing that can happen? If you put, Alka is making a chat. If you put a 10 times n percentage opacity 3x3 box around a spot with a neighboring bee where n is the amount of neighbors. You could see hotspots of bees. That's a great idea. Okay, did that come in? Did that work? There it is. Coding Challenge 71 Minesweeper is now Beesweeper. Oh, it should be called Beesweeper. Somebody can pull request that. Change this to Beesweeper, I guess. I do want to use, even though I'm calling it Beesweeper, you know, for selfish reasons, I think I want the coding challenge on YouTube to be called Minesweeper, the title, the tags, because that's what people will be searching for. I doubt people are going to be searching on YouTube Beesweeper code. Beesweeper. Is there actually a game called Beesweeper? Huh, cool. Okay, so I think I'm finished for today. It's 12:15. I know this is just one coding challenge for today. I would love to do more. I'm going to be doing some live streaming from the ITP show. Let's see, Shiftman ITP Winter Show 2016. So I made this video. Hello, it's me, Dan Shiftman. Which you can't really hear because but this was a video I made that showed a bunch of projects from the Winter Show, which was in December. This is happening this week here at ITP. You can come to it if you're in New York, Tuesday and Wednesday. I hope to live stream from my phone. And I got this like a gimbal stabilizer. So I'm going to walk around the show with my phone looking at projects and interviewing people. So that'll come, maybe I'll even do that during some of the setup time. Maybe I'll even do a test of that this afternoon, so you can stay tuned for those. And hopefully I'll be back. The semester's over now. There's a couple weeks, there's 2 weeks in July that I'm out of town and 2 weeks in August that I'm out of town. But otherwise this summer, I might move in June to do twice a week live streams. I might do some more. I got to get through all that machine learning content and do some more coding challenges. Okay, so let's see. What else can I say today? So let me, whoops. Is it playing that music and I can't hear it? Yeah. Oh, I will mention if you like what you see and you want to join a Slack Patreon group, you can go to patreon.com/codingtrain. And let's see, I also have a store now, codingtrain.storeenvy.com. If you want to get one of these lovely Coding Train hoodies, they are available, along with some t-shirts and different things. What else do I want to plug here? I plugged the ITP show. Processing Foundation. I would rather you support the Processing Foundation than me if you can only support one. But if you use processing or P5JS and processing related tools, consider becoming a member. And let me look at the chat again. Oh yeah, and I'm going to revamp the Patreon rewards and try to change them around. So I'm going to be doing that in the next week. And maybe I'll make some t-shirt or reward and that kind of thing. Okay, could you do a coding challenge visualizing sorting methods? I would love that. If you're not familiar, by the way, with Michael Bostock's, who's the creator of D3's visualizing algorithms, this is a wonderful walkthrough and page about visualizing different algorithms, and I think there's some sorting algorithms on this page. Right here. I would love to do a coding challenge that does something like this. That would be really fun and great. And nothing I make will look nearly as nice or beautiful as what Michael Bostock has made. Okay. Looking at the chat here. Alka, that is a great, and let me see if I can recreate this. Alka posted a really great suggestion. So let me see here. Is that still there? Yes, or is it just caching it? It's still there. Is the code still there? So what do I do when I click on it? Let's see. What was the suggestion? Opacity box where a neighboring b, okay, so wait. So if I, in the show function, if it's revealed, I'm going to say alpha equals 10 times this dot neighbor count, no stroke. I'm going to draw a rectangle, fill 0, comma a, if it's revealed. Let's try this. That didn't seem to work. Is this happening? Oh, I wonder if something has gone wrong because I renamed the file. Oh, no, did I? No, yeah, because there's a, whoops. So hold on. Sorry, I renamed the file, so I'm actually not looking at the right thing right now. And try this little variation. Let's get rid of this. And this is what I want to be editing in Atom, in Cell, under Show. Let's put this back in here. And let's go here and see. This doesn't exist anymore. Run the server. Whoa. Hold on. I can't tell if it's there. Because there's like this, whoa, what's going on? What did I do? Oh, because I'm not just doing it only if it's revealed. What did I miss? Hold on, let me look at the chat. Needs to be masked to only cover areas. Oops, the camera went off. Oh, you know what the range is? So hold on. Let me do this. Map this neighbor count between 0 and 8 to between an alpha of 0 and 255. Right? And let's put this for everything right now, whether it's revealed or not. Yeah, so this is like a little map of like where the hotspots are. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So it's like a little bit of a clue here that we can see, obviously, if I click here. And what I could do is also, I could use like red or something just to sort of see that. Yeah, that's interesting. And now what I'm curious to do also is make it bigger and make the size smaller and add like 50 Bs. Woo. And add like 100 Bs. And you can see here, yeah. So that's kind of interesting to see. This is very much like reminiscent of like a cellular automata system. There's some interesting things. Oh, but the text placement is all wrong now. So that should be, one thing that needs to be fixed is the text placement should really be controlled. So that I would accept, by the way, as a pull request. So sometimes I get, well, when should I make a pull request? And when should I actually link to something that I have made? And so pull requests to change the actual example code that's in the browser, that's in the repository, should really only be for like significant bug fixes or like minor adjustments that are going to make it easier for someone who's making their own creative interpretation to work with. So if you're making your own creative interpretation, visualizing it differently, adding interactivity, changing the sort of narrative of the game, then that should be, but if you want to add something that just fixes the way the text is placed based on like the size of it, that could be useful as a pull request. Okay, my soundboard died. Text align, you can have center. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna, now it's 12:23. This stream has been for almost 2 hours. I will take a A couple more questions. I want to plug in my... Let's charge up this. This is so unnecessary what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm about to say goodbye. I can't say goodbye. It's so hard to say goodbye. That's not a song. Let's see if it comes alive. Oh, okay. So any last questions? Oh, I agree, blue. It should be determined by the box size, in which turn should be determined by the window size. Yes. This laptop has a hole in it. Yeah, it's the green in the old Coding Rainbow sticker. What kind of music do I like? That's a good question. I'm a musical theater fan. I love the musical theater. I love the Broadway. Give me some show tunes and I'm happy. Some classical music I like. Some dance music I like. I like all music. Could I do a neural network video in P5 sometime? That is coming up. And actually, there's a big bug. Maybe I'll fix this bug right now in the next 5 minutes because it's been on my to-do list all week. Schiffman. Okay, so let's go to my, actually, I'm not going to, let's see here. I have a simple little library for a neural network in P5. Okay, my soundboard has come back. Not now. Where is it? Okay. There is a bug in this particular example, which is, what was it called? Neural network P5. So I'm going to do this as a coding challenge for sure at some point. And this is just like not at all working. And I think the reason why is I made the library, I'm going to get to all this in a future video. I made the library require an activation function. So if I go into here, I'm going to look at this code to see when I create new neural network. You know what? I'm going to debug this on my own time later this afternoon. Oh yeah, T-Rex game. That would be a great coding challenge. Sudoku generator or solver. I would love to do that as well. I got to fix this example, but I will get to. I'm going to build a neural network example in P5 or processing soon enough. That's coming. Everybody wants the deep learning. You know, all this deep learning stuff. Maybe you should go outside and garden. That would be my suggestion. But I will. I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to look at Keras and some Python and that sort of thing. A genetic algorithm to solve Minesweeper. I think that's probably overkill. It's unnecessary because it's sort of a solved. You know, mathematically it could just be solved, but it's certainly a possibility. Okay, so what else do I got? I'm going to see you guys hopefully in some bonus live streams with interviewing students about their projects and things here at ITP. And then I'll be back hopefully next Friday, probably again in the afternoon. I know for sure there's a lot of graduation activities that I'll have to be at. So next week's gonna be a little tricky, but hopefully I'll find a time to do a live stream. But then the summer will arrive and I will have all the time in the world to internet hug all of you with strange code examples. And I have a New Year's resolution from a long time ago, which is that I want to hopefully have a lot of guest tutorials in June. So that's something I've got to work on, add to my to-do list to make happen. Okay, thanks everybody, and I will see you in a future. Sorry, I shouldn't look at ridiculous news notifications on my phone. That's why I put my phone over there. Okay, goodbye everybody. See you in the future. I gotta find the right thing to move here to hit stop. Goodbye. Happy train riding, coding train. Choo-choo, all aboard. Thank you. Oh, I was going to read from this book, but I'll do that next time. Okay. Hold on, I'm back. I forgot. Do I need to make a little intro to that coding challenge? Let me see about this. Coming back. Okay, I forgot. Let me go back here to let me put this back to what it was at one time. And let me go to here and take off this. I forgot that maybe what I should do is record a little like intro to the coding challenge. I often do that. So let me do that. I can move this over and do this. Okay. So I'm going to do that. So this is a weird thing. I hope not like thousands of people suddenly just join, because this is going to last for about 5 minutes. I didn't even need to do this live streaming, but I can't do anything unless I'm live on the internet apparently. So I wish I could automate it. Oh boy. Oh, so many things I messed up. Oh right. Hold on. Let me get the code back. Hold on. Total B's 20. And where's the text? Got to change the text size. Let's try to make it just whatever the W is. Whoops. Oh, really? Text size. Oh, that is working. Oh, let's just leave it what it was. Sorry. I know what it was. This was 20. This was 20. There we go. Okay. Sorry, everybody. This is actually a live video, but it's gonna be over soon because I'm just doing a quick introduction. I like the idea that maybe the Coding Train logo might actually appear more in this. It's over there. Okay. Oh, this turned off again. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Oh no, come back. Okay, I mean, this might be pointless, but I'm going to try it anyway. Hello. Welcome to another coding challenge. In this coding challenge, I'm going to make Minesweeper. I actually already did the coding challenge. I'm recording a quick intro so you can see what's going to happen. It's a long one. It's about somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. I will point out it took me less time to make Minesweeper than it took me to make Pong, which goes to show you how my brain doesn't really work in normal ways. The Pong should really be simpler, I would think. But anyway, this is Minesweeper. It's actually Bsweeper, but because these are bees and not mines, but it doesn't really matter. The point of this game is that you click, and when you click, you're trying to avoid getting stung by a bee. And so here, this cell has 3 bees next to it, so I'm going to click somewhere else. This one has 2. I'm going to click somewhere else. 3, click. Oh, and I hit a bee. So let me try again. Oh, I hit a bee. Oh, I hit a bee. There we go. And when I click somewhere that has no neighbors, it reveals all the other spots around it that also have no neighbors and the numbers. So, okay, so that's Bsweeper. I can see for sure that there's a bee here. If I were to click, there'd be a bee. So this is the game. I'm going to program it from scratch in JavaScript all the way through. I'm going to make a whole bunch of mistakes and get lost. And at the end of this, I will give you a lot of suggestions and things that you could add or try to make your own creative version of it. And I hope you will share those with me. Code in the description on GitHub. Okay, thanks. Enjoy this coding challenge. All aboard. Okay. All right. That's it. Audio not synced. So people are saying the audio and the video are out of sync. This is something I do not have control over. Sometimes this seems to happen. If you refresh the page, it usually fixes it. And also, when I do the edited version of this that's going to get published online, that will be fixed. Yeah, because I'm recording it separately. Okay. All right. So that's it. Sorry, I just came back for an extra little bonus little clip there. Now I'm going to leave again. So goodbye. Oh, look at my this laptop got kind of the paper left, and I don't know if that was weird. But anyway, see you all next week. Have a great day. Enjoy the world and the outside world and people and all the nice things, hopefully, that you have to do. And I will see you soon. Okay.